Good morning. Welcome back to the 6 a.m. Club where we start our day inspired. This week, I was inspired by something that I heard. I don't know that necessarily is a quote, but I've been thinking a lot about this. And when I first heard about it, I didn't found the meaning on it. But the more that I reflected on it, it just blew my mind. So here it is. Here's what I heard. Excuses are fear talking. Every time you make an excuse, fear is winning. Let me repeat it one more time. Excuses are fear talking. Every time that you make an excuse, fear is winning. And as I said, when I first heard this, it didn't resonate with me. But I kept thinking about it, and I kept thinking about it for some reason. And I know that reason is because I needed to hear this. So I started to make a list of all the excuses that I've been making up lately. Excuses that I made for myself and excuses that I made to others. Every time that I've been asked to do something and I had an excuse why not to do it or not get involved on it, or even excuses that I made to myself, right? Like, I don't feel like working out today. I'm too tired. I'm too busy. Or I've been trying to start a new project and I've been a little bit frustrated because I don't know where to start, and I keep telling myself I can't do this and I don't know how to do this and I don't have the time to do this. And as I was making this list of all the excuses that I've used lately, I came to realize that this is so true. Excuses are not other thing but fear talking. Every time that we make an excuse, there is a fear behind that excuse. Sometimes is the fear of failure. Sometimes is the fear of what other people might think of us. Sometimes is the fear of success. Sometimes is the fear of what if it doesn't work? What if I do all this work? What if I put all this work and I don't get the results that I want to get? What if someone else is better than me? What if this is not for me? What if I make a mistake? What if other people see me make a mistake? And you can keep going, right? We all have fears. That is natural. That's part of our human nature. And a lot of times we're not even aware of what our fears are. And the way that those fears manifest is in the form of excuses. And here's where I'm going to interject another quote, because one of my excuses was I don't have time. And when I thought about it, there's this other quote or thing that I heard also this week, coincidence, maybe I'm just in this channel this week, that when someone asks you to do something, right, instead of making an excuse on why you can't do what they want you to do, just realize and accept that what they're asking is not a priority for you right now. Isn't that mind-blowing, right? We made up excuses for a lot of things, and at the end of the day, sometimes it's not. That excuse is not real. It's just a facade for our fears. And the truth is sometimes that either the excuse esteems on our fear or the fact that it's just not a priority. And we are afraid to say that it's not a priority. And I think we need to get more comfortable being able to say no when something is not a priority, in a very respectful and kind way, because obviously this could and most likely be a priority for someone else. But I've been working a lot on changing my language and changing my mindset around these things, my excuses, my fears, and my priorities. So things or mantras that I keep reminding myself of anytime that I catch myself saying that I don't have time, I pause for a second and I tell myself, when something is a priority, I always make the time and I always find the way. It's not that I don't have time. It's not that I don't know how to do it. It's that it's not a priority. And I'm just afraid of telling someone that it's not a priority for me right now, that there are other things that are higher in my priority list right now. And I'm just afraid of saying that because of what other people might think or how I might, impact negatively someone else. So I make an excuse that I don't have time or I don't know how to do it. And sometimes I make that excuse to myself. So the other thing that I keep repeating myself, especially when it comes to my personal goals, is I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing what I'm doing for anyone else. And this is specifically to like my health and my well-being journey. I'm not doing it for anyone else. I'm doing this for myself. So exercising some self-compassion and self-love and coming from a place of self-love and self-compassion rather than a place of fear, it really changes your perspective on the journey and it changes the perspective on the choices that you make. And you're more likely to stay consistent with whatever journey you're going through when you go through that journey from a place of self-compassion and self-love versus a place of fear. But you need to start by identifying what are those fears behind the excuses that you're making. Because a lot of times what we see, it's our excuses. Our fears are buried underneath, and it is our job to find out what is at the root of our excuses. What is our fears? What is that we are actually afraid of? So we can change the narrative, change our perspective, change our mindset, so we can go by and live fulfilling lives. So anyways, I thought I would share this with you because I've been thinking a lot about this week and doing a lot of reflection, and I thought it was an amazing quote. And I want to leave you with the quote before I say goodbye, and that was, excuses are fear talking. Every time that you make an excuse, fear is winning. Don't let fear win. Embrace your priorities and your goals and your dreams and let that guide you versus your fears. So here's my call to action for you today, which is what I'm working on right now. Make a list of all the excuses that you've been making lately to yourself and to others, and try to think about what might be behind those excuses. What is that you're afraid of? And be ready to be mind blown by what you find out and what you learn about yourself. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I will see you here again next week for another episode of the Leading Yourself podcast.